Hello everybody, this is Stormin208 and we're back with another video. I understand that it's been a very long time since I have uploaded a Minecraft video or just a video in general. Well, it's because I've been working on a special project. I've been working on this since December, and so I'm going to show you my big reveal. I'm going to turn it offline. So it's a huge map, and pretty much what it is, it's a huge Star Wars Battlefront map in Minecraft. And so the actual terraforming of the map has been done by castle crafters, like all this terraform castle crafters, but all this modding here for the Xbox has been done by me. So what I did is I used my modding skills, and yes, I have become a modder now. And one of the reasons why it took me so long to do all this is because modding takes a really long time. If you get one thing wrong, the game crashes, and you have to figure out why it crashed. But once when you get through all that, you can get some pretty amazing things. Like over here, I have teleporters. These aren't actually portals to the end dimension. These are actually teleporters. They teleport you to locations within your world. So before I get started, I'm going to go to the credits. So like I said, it's been made by castle crafters, like all terraforming. Modding's been done by me. So this was a PC map that I brought over. I used the MCC tool chest to convert it. And if you want the download, I will put the links in the description. For the Xbox 360, which is the only way you can download the map, by the way. We will be playing a game of this. We'll try and do a 4v4. Sometimes using the Xbox One is a little hard to connect, but we will be doing a 4v4, and when that video goes up, I will also put down a description to download these tool chest and horizon along with this whole map. So I will set this map up for download. And excuse me for a sec, I will turn my hands back on so it makes it a little easier to see. Good. Okay, I'm back. And so all this is Castle Crafters. I will not take any credit for the terraforming. It is absolutely amazing. And I added my name here, by the way, just because I am a builder for the map. Alright, I think that's cool. And another thing, when you do download the map, you will notice that there's a little hole. I don't know why it's there. It's just there. But when you go over it, you disappear. It's really weird. And so let's use a teleporter and exit. I am not using any video editing whatsoever. This is all just in-game. So let me explain how the actual game works. So, amazing work, by the way, Castle Crafters. I am really impressed. You got a huge Star Destroyer in the back and giant rebel transport ship blowing up. It's all really cool stuff. Okay, so when you start on the world, I set the spawn point to spawn up here, so you should spawn on here. This is, by the way, made of barrier blocks. It's a really cool block. It's invisible. You can't break it in survival, only in creative. And so you should spawn up there. If by any chance you don't and you end up missing, like you were to spawn right here, I do have a respawn system right here, so you just hop in the lava, you'll die, and then when you respawn again, it finds a new spot to respawn you in. Hopefully that new spot's on here. It's a pretty big area, so it really should just spawn you back up in here. And so you have two options. You have to either join the Imperials or you can join the Rebels, and that is just a side effect of modding. Just ignore the lights. And to start, say you want to be Rebels, just take a Rebel key. These do absolutely nothing besides hold a place, because there's only 4 slots on each side, so if you actually only have 5 people go into one side, there's not really much you can do, because I don't have a teleporter to bring it back up here. So make sure you take them before you go in, just so you know how many spots are left for both teams. So when you come through here, you'll appear in the Rebel spawn. And the first thing you want to do is you want to pick your loadout. Those of you who are familiar with the 2015's DICE Battlefront, this is pretty much what it's based off of. So you have your 2 hand items, then your 1 power. And so the way this works is you grab some dirt. I know that you used to be able to have it so you don't have to spend anything and you can just buy whatever you want. But as of, I don't remember what update it was, I want to say TU54, they changed it so you can no longer buy something for nothing. It has to be something. So a lot of modded maps, I understand, have broken because of that. But so I changed it all to 1 piece of dirt. And so what you do is you choose 2 of these. If you want to be like the real Battlefront, you choose 2 different ones, but if you really want one, you can choose one. So you just select one. Say I want the jump pack, and then I want the back to bomb. So I grab those 2, and those are the 2 that I want, so I keep them, and then I go over here, and you just get one of these. And when you buy stuff, the villager replenishes his other stuff, which is really annoying. And then I'm going to do the adrenaline slim. So I have the adrenaline slim, back to bomb, and jump pack. Then what you do is you come down here, and then you choose a room. I prefer if you fill it up room 1, then fill up room 2, then room 3, then room 4. That way you always know someone is in here. This is the room that gets the game going. You have to have someone in this room, and then you hit this button to actually start up the game. And it starts up the game for everyone. There's not one on the Imperial side. Just so you need someone in the Rebels over here. So then what you do is you notice that I gave you 9. And the reason for this is so you sometimes I think the arrows for the center power that you get one of, there's 18. So what you do is you take that number and divide it by 9. So then you place 9 in here. So since this only had 9, there's only 1 for each slot. But if I chose the arrows, it would have done 2. So there'd be 2 in each slot, and then you just do this with all of your items. Just like this. And then this is your deck 1. And you can do this 4 more times. I recommend doing it 4. Keep inventories not on, so if you die when you have these in battle, they will drop. Oh, and another thing I added, unlike in Battlefront, when you die, you don't drop your weapons, which I thought would be kind of a cool feature where if you were to drop these when you died, so the more people you kill, the more gear you have. So I thought that would be pretty interesting. And so then what you do is you change it to night, and oh, you can go up and yeah, and you can do this 4 more times for the sake of time. I won't. So you change to night, then you sleep in bed, and this pretty much sets your spawn. So when you die, you'll spawn back in your room. So when you die, you'll just respawn. You'll spawn right here. You go to your deck, and then you just select the first row. Alright, first row, and then, oh, by the way, you don't need this dirt. Let me just get rid of it. You just select your first row, so you have your 2 powers, and then your center power. And then here's the cool part. You can run, but I'm just going to walk. Make sure you pick up everything. And for some reason, these didn't work. How interesting. Isn't it just funny how sometimes things don't work when you want them to? Let's see. Oh, I found the culprit. There's no redstone. This is why I do testing, because it is just me doing this, by the way. Like, no one else. It's just been me. That's one of the disbenefits of modding on the Xbox, is that it's just you. No one else can help you. You're on your own. Okay. So, if that's taken care of, you just run through, and then you get all of your items without falling down the hole that you just created. And then you come down. And so, it teleports you right in the battlefield. And that, by the way, is the rebel spawn, where you get your gear. And so you just, and when you hover over an armor piece, if you look, it says LT to equipped at the bottom by the inventory and creative. So you just equipped all these, and if I wasn't in creative, they would disappear. Let's just go into survival. That would be easier, wouldn't it? So fly. Okay. So then you get your items, and then you're ready to fight. You have your bow, and your arrow, and your map. You can use this map to see the position of all the other players. And you have your bow. They're all EE3. I would have liked to have customizable, but that just would have meant I had to spend a lot more time working up on the bows, and I did not want to do that. So everyone has an EE3, and then it has infinity, so you can just shoot as many times. It has unbreaking to, I believe, 2,000. I know it just says 1, but I think after 10 it just resets back to 1. So you can pretty much shoot this as many times as you want. And so the way the bow damage works is if you hit them twice, they'll be at extremely low health, so it takes 3 shots to finish them off, but if they've already been damaged, it only takes 2. And that's how the weapons work. And then these, so one thing you notice, so you're running around, you're shooting, you're getting hurt, and use your leech to fly around, as long as you're not flying, and creative. And you're going to get hungry, regardless, and I do recommend doing this in easy, just because your hunger doesn't go down super fast, and you're still allowed to run around, because it's a pretty big map. It takes up the entire map. So what you first want to do is you want to get your food when you're running around. And the reason why I have these food stations instead of just giving you a bunch of food when you spawn in and run through the tunnel is because in Battlefront, you can't just start healing up immediately. It takes a little bit. So I have these specific stations that you have to go do to get food. So you could be in battle over there getting hurt. Then when you win the battle, you'll be pretty hurt, and you'll also be hungry, and you want to get your health back. Just run over here, hit the button, and then pick it up from the hopper. And you can eat it and keep running. And so let's talk about the objectives of your battle. So the rebels' objective is to come over here and take out this monitor droid. Pretty cool. He'll attack the rebels just like any Star Wars Imperial droid would. And he'll attack you, and a disbenefit, he will attack both teams. I'm sorry, there's not much I can do for the modding. I can't have him team favor. But so the idea is you come over here, kill him, and then when he dies, he's on a pressure plate, a stone one, so you can't throw stuff on it and have it still work. And then this comes down, these blocks here come down. Then you stand on here, and you have to continuously stand on the pressure plate. And then if you stand on there long enough, then this beacon will turn blue. And while you're standing on it, this beacon will light up brown, and fireworks will come out over there. So it'll pretty much try to alert the other team as best as I can to pretty much make like no one favor. Like you can just sneak in. I don't want that to happen. So let's go down and show you the timer for the game. And I do have a barrier block here, and I can't break it, so let's go to creative. And so you go down here. Well, you don't have to, but this is the core of the map. This is where it all starts. So when you hit when everyone's in their position and you go and hit the button to start the game, and do make sure that everyone's ready, because you don't want an unfair advantage. That's just not cool. So when you do it, it drops down a piece of, I believe it's quartz, but it doesn't matter. Lands on the pressure plate. It activates this, and it sends a charge going off. And it's just a single charge. It's not continuous. And so what that does is I can use that single charge to go down, and it sets off a loop timer. And every time it loops around, the dispenser dispenses out one piece of emerald. And that begins to light up this system here. The first thing it activates is this trail over here. This is the power-ups. I will be getting to this later. But what it does is it leads to this room of it's a 3-minute timer. This huge room. It's only 3 minutes. Yeah, it's terrible. But every 3 minutes, power-ups will appear, and I will go to those later. And as it keeps going, it'll go to this one. This one activates all the heroes. And then after a little bit, it gets to this final one. This final one ends the game. You know the game's over because this green beacon will turn red. The only part of the purpose of this beacon is as a timer. When it turns red, you know the game's over. If the rebels have successfully turned this beacon blue before the light goes on, then the rebels win. If the Imperials defend and then the beacon goes red while this is still black, then the Imperials win. And I'm still balancing out some of the stuff, so if you have any tips, I will take them. And so when you get over to this monitor droid and start to attack, I've used modding, and I've given him 30 Totem of Undying. And so you have to sit here and you have to kill him 30 times pretty much. I can edit his health depending on how hard the game goes. It's unknown how much health he will need for the game, because it's 4v4. If you can take out the entire team, then it's 4 people attacking him, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. The reason why I decided to do Totem of Undying instead of giving him a bunch of health is, say you get one of the power-ups here that I was talking about. When a power-up does appear, there's a beacon. There's 4 power-up stations around the map. So when you see the beacon come up, you just come here and pick up this thing. The beacon turns off, and then you're good. And then you have a power-up. This time I got an infinity turret. I will go over all the power-ups later. And one of the power-ups you can get is a thermal imploder. It does a bunch of damage, and one of the problems, one of the things I was worried about, is say you get a thermal imploder, and this guy just has a bunch of health, you throw it in, and just insta-shots him. And that wouldn't be very fun. So I decided, using Totem of Undying, you can kill him. You can do as much damage as you want, but when he dies, he just respawns. Pretty much with the Totem of Undying. So you have to kill him 30 times, and it doesn't matter how much damage you do. You could do a ton of damage, but it's only going to kill once. And that is the beacon done, so I will go down and explain all the power-ups that you can get. So there are 9 separate power-ups that you can use. Let's get over. So the first one, the one that I got, was the infinity turret. The beacon turned back on, 3 minutes have passed. This one is a high velocity projectile. I think this was the disruptor rifle. I had to kind of rename them to make them work how I wanted. So let's quickly go over. Oh, and by the way, I used some cool modding, and I was able to get these sand monsters. They're really evoker fangs. But so when you approach them, they'll activate. And so say you're running into battle, and you walk across, and it bites you, and it does a little bit of damage. It won't kill you, but it's enough to scare you, and maybe kill you if you're already hurt enough. I believe I set 32 of them around the map, so it's not enough that you'll run into them all the time, but it's enough to make you a little bit wary. So let's go over the first few. So we have a squad shield here. It gives you absorption for 2 seconds. So let's go into survival. So when you throw the squad shield, oh, and by the way, all these are named after the actual Battlefront, and their abilities are just like the ones for real Battlefront. So you throw down the squad shield, it makes a squad shield. When you go into it, you get some extra hearts. And then when you walk away, it goes away. Right, you're gonna go away, huh? 2 seconds? Well, maybe it was a little longer. Anyway. Oh yeah, now it's gone. So it only works when you're in it. And this one, thermal imploder. Let me just turn keep inventory on. So you throw the thermal imploder, and it does a bunch of damage. If you're touched by any part of it, I believe it's like instant damage 5 the potion was. Maybe it was 4, I didn't exactly read it. But it's enough to kill a regular soldier when he's in it. And so so I died, you respawn, go, get your gear, then you fly off. But we already did that, and I don't want to step on this because I don't want to be filled up on more stuff because I kept inventory on. As you go through again, whoa, that was weird. It didn't work. Okay, and so the next one we have an orbital strike. This one was a little bit harder to do, but I finally decided it would be best to use a ghast. And I turned a mob destroying tiles off, and so it's not super threatening. Like it's not gonna do a lot. It's okay. It's just there to pester, and if you're not paying attention, take down this ghast. So that's how you take out the orbital strike. So it'll stay up there shooting you. Oh dear. Let me just show you the damage. Oh, there we go. So it does do a little bit of damage. It's just supposed to scare you. It's not supposed to do anything. And then next power up we have our Viper Droid. And again, these aren't team friendly. So the idea is you just place it and then just book it. And then it'll start to attack the other team. I believe there's a little bit of delay. While as soon as you place it, I believe there's some delay before it actually spawns in. So it's actually use this food station and get health back, huh? So you just eat it and get your health back. It is steak, so you really don't need too much of it. Another thing, you could stock up on the food. I wouldn't recommend it, because if your team needs it, then, well, it's out. There's only 1 stack within each piece, so be mindful. They are scattered throughout, like, they're decently spaced apart. Like, there's one over there, one over there, one right there. But, sorry. Another thing, over here, this is supposed to be meant for the Imperials, and I got this by just placing some of the barrier blocks, and I put some, oh, and I believe there's another one there. So there's ladders going up, and this is an AT-ST, I believe, and what you get is you get this really cool fireball. It only activates when you get a decent amount close to it, but what you can do is you can use this to attack the rebel soldiers. So the faster you spam, the faster you shoot. So the faster, and just go, it's pretty much like a turret. I set it up so you can't injure the evoker in there. You just can't, like the walls protect them. And then these will not destroy blocks as well, like you can shoot it in. It won't destroy it, but it will do damage if you hit player. And the way to aim with this is, it's a little tricky because the fire covers it, but say you want to shoot that glowstone over there. So you move over, until your cursor's on the glowstone, like this. And then you go down, and when you hit it, it'll go and it'll go and attack the glowstone. And if you're in the position, it's really weird because you'd think that you'd have to move here to hit down, but really it goes where your cursor hits. So if I hit down here, it's gonna head down there. If I'm standing here, but if I look up and I hit here, it's gonna go over there. So it goes right where your cursor says it is. With player tags, it's a little easier because you just aim at the player tag through the fire and shoot at them. I'm doing a little bit of damage. And that's that. I'm just trying to get this as quickly as I can. So the ion missile, oh dear, I keep running into him. So with the vehicle turret, you pretty much take these out. They're just ion missiles. They're pretty much pointless. Like they're mainly used because all the turrets, let me just show you. So when the Powerups you can get, they're turrets. And, oh my gosh, you get the turret. So it's just a skeleton. So what you do with the turret is you place like a little a dome, and then you make it so he can't get out, but he can still attack. And then you have 3 extra, you can just throw those down just in case you mess up. So then you place the skeleton inside, if I can. Is that not just weird? Maybe is mob spawning need to be on? No. Let's turn that off before mobs actually spawn. Is this a glitch? Because this is... Huh. I might need to fix that. Oh well, another thing I have to do. So the turret's a skeleton, and when you use ion weapons against him, it does more damage to turrets. So pretty much, when you want to attack him, put your stuff in here, then you shoot him, and it does more damage. And that's just it. And then I'm pretty sure this was the disruptor rifle. But so they're instant damage too. Oh, by the way, I can mod the arrows, but for some reason, if I were to shoot a modded arrow and I were to miss my target, it would land like this. And if we were to go over and pick up the modded arrow, the game would crash. It'd be really weird. But so the highest damage you can do is just instant damage 2, because that's an in-game. And so I'm sorry, I would like to have it like instant shot like it would in the real, but it doesn't. There's not much I can do. So then we have our blaster cannon. You get 9 blaster cannon bolts. Same concept. Just put them in here, and then you're free to shoot. You can just attack whatever you want, but you only have 9 of them. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you're out. If you missed, you can go pick them up, but since you're shooting at the enemy, they're probably gonna pick it up before you do. Oh, and make sure that when you shoot it at them, make sure that they don't pick it up, because then you're pretty much giving it to them. Like if you're shooting, you miss, and they're over here, you miss, then they just have to walk over and pick it up. Just a helpful little tip. Next one, the proximity bomb. This one was a really cool idea, but then they fixed it. Well, they added a cool thing, but it broke it in the process. So what we do, so it's a creeper, a mobilizer, which freezes them for a half hour, and then the invisibility, which lasts for a half hour. So you place down your creeper, you throw the mob immobilizer, and then if you hit yourself, that's okay, because that's why you have this thing called first aid. It's just milk bucket disables the effects, and you cannot splash yourself with the invisibility, so you have to first get him first. And see, I'm invisible too. You get rid of it, and you can't be invisible because half-hour invisibility is just unfair. So just like a proximity bomb in Battlefront, you can kind of see it, like it's partially there, and if you walk up to it, it'll blow up. And with the new update, they added, so when a creeper blows up, it leaves a lingering effect. If the enemy was in here and they got stuck, they'd be stuck here with a half-hour invisibility and slowness. And there's nothing, you can't move unless you jump. And this is a pretty bad situation to be in. So I'm sorry, but because of the way they fixed it, you just have to kill yourself. Not very fun, I know. And then you just waste another set because you had to die. But there's no other way I can do it, because you walk up to it, it explodes just like a real bomb. And sorry, my voice is starting to hurt. I've been talking for a really long time. And see, if I were the rebels, I would have lost because the beacon did just go red. So I would have lost if I was on the rebels. No, let's just say I was on the Imperials. Yeah, I was on the Imperial team and we just won right now. Whoopee. So that's all the power-ups and how to use them. I will go through and fix this turret. I don't know why it's not working. Maybe I messed up something, but it's just a regular skeleton. Like, it's nothing special. And another thing that you may have noticed. Did this break too? Come on. But so this is actually a. Why can't I? There's something really wrong with this game right now. Open sesame. No. Oh, okay. Alright, just stay there. And yeah, like I just said, they just light up. Just ignore them. Okay, so let's go to this one that's working over here. I don't know why. Can I not just break blocks? Oh, duh. I've been playing creative for such a long time. Okay, so then you get these gold beacons that appear halfway through. These are actually the hero pickup beacons. So this one's for the Imperials. There was one over there, but for some reason it didn't light up. That's for the Rebels. I will fix these out by the time we do the game. But what it pretty much does is it opens up this, and then when you run across it, it closes the door so no one else can get in, and it also closes off this beacon so it turns off, so it's pretty much like, okay, sweet, someone's in there. And you go through the portal, and you're in this hero pickup room. It's pretty cool. I kind of like it. I'm not big on building or decorating, so it's pretty decent. I got some lightsabers. So if you were a rebel and you came, because it's the same room for the rebels and Imperials. So if you're a rebel, you go through this door. If you're Imperial, go through this door. And so here's just notes. So pretty much when you go here to get your hero, you first have to take off all of your gear, and you have to fill up the chest with all of your gear. You can't take anything with you, but make sure you don't mix it up either. So you will take your hero armor and your hero abilities. So if I wasn't in creative, these would actually be put on and not duplicated. So I'm blue to signify I'm the good hero. And then what you do, I'm just going to signify, so you're in survival. I chose Luke Skywalker. Each person has their own abilities catered towards them, like Trooper Bane, Enhanced Squad Shield, Supply Drop. That's just, it's just like in Battlefront. And so Luke has his Force Push, which is instant damage. He has his Heavy Strike, which gives him extra damage with his sword. So this is only useful if you're going up against a hero, because this does actually one-shot any rebel soldier. And then he has his Saber Rush. It gives him 5 seconds of speed and strength, and it's really fast speed, by the way. And so when that runs out, yeah, and you only have, I think it was like 6 of these, 4 of these, and 4 of these, and you attack with this. And then, so once when you choose, you can only choose one here, by the way. You can't cheat and steal someone else's gear. So before you go through the portal, drink this. It gives you your health, your ability, and then Luke is fast and he jumps higher. And so that's why you get these. They all last for a half hour, which is more than enough to finish the game. So you run through, and it takes you to the back of your spawn side map. So since this was a rebel, Luke's, well, he's part of the rebel team. He spawns on the rebel side. And so you have to run all the way back. Luke does jump higher, and he runs faster, so that's... And I can mod the effects, by the way, so that's why I'm jumping a lot higher than any of you would be used to. And so let's just simulate, like, going into battle. There's 4 other players. They'd have their hero, by the way, too, because they spawn at the exact same time. And there's only one for the map. There's only one. And so we're going to run through. And everyone's pretty much going to meet up in here, so it's a safe bet. Oh, yeah, so the item spawns. There's one there, one there, one there, and one there. So there's 4, 2 for each team. And so you go in here, and then you pretty much attack the Voker. And then you get rid of the little Vexes, by the way. And then you can see me, and then he'll be attacking like mad because he wants to get rid of you. And it's kind of hard to see your health because it can only show 20 at a time. And so you don't know when you're about to die until you're really about to die. So I killed him. We just had a huge rush, and then it lets this down. So what we have to do is you have to stand here. A charge slowly starts going through the ground. Beam goes off. Fireworks go off. And then you gotta watch out for Vexes if there's any left over. Oh dear. And then beacon will slowly start to change. So what it does is it sends a slow charge to the ground as it's off. Like, say I died before the light went on. There's a piston here that activates immediately. So when the player off here dies, the piston closes and the charge can't go through. But since the charge is still moving, if someone gets on, it'll open up the piston and the charge will make it through. And the beacon change is permanent, and don't worry, you won't fall because there's a barrier block. And so this pretty much means the rebels have won. But look, the light is red, so the Imperials would have won this game if this was a real game. The game lasts for 20 minutes almost exactly. It's a little hard because I can't like set a true timer. And you also can't see how much health you have, which is a little bit of a bummer. And I believe that is all the tips and tricks I have. Oh, one thing. So with your hero abilities, you can divvy these out to people. Like say like there's a teammate run by, you can give them some of these. But then there's the risk of if they die, then you can't use it anymore. And so if you may have noticed that my potions and armor have been enchanted with curses of vanishing, and what that pretty much does is it makes it so when you die, your items disappear. And only heroes and villains have been enchanted with this. That is all I have for the Battlefront map. Goodbye.